As we all know, the unprecedented use of technology over the last few years has resulted in a dramatic change in the world, which has an impact on all aspects of our lives, including education, the economy, and our careers. To keep up with the ever increasing pace and changes, we must learn the necessary skills for our career development. Who else can explain these skills better than Mr. Yashpal Sardhana, who is working to create an environment of engineering excellence in our society?
An alumnus of the Wharton School of Business, Mr. Sardana has 30 years of experience in leadership positions. He is the current vice president and the plant head of the Hero Motorcorp, Haridwar. He is also known to consistently set up new benchmarks within Hero in last 3 decades with different roles in central business excellence, plant manufacturing operations, production, projects quality, and supplier quality assurance. He started as an assistant engineer and the manager in 1991 and has worked miraculously hard to reach where he is right now. He earned a degree in mechanical engineering from the Institute of Engineering of India in Kolkata and completed a leadership development program at the Wharton School of Pennsylvania and worked as an engineer with Indo-Swiss Time Limited and MTech Auto Limited. He went on to seed the Hero's first ever robotic facility installation for the mass production.
As it is said, those who are happiest are those who do the most for others. Let me present to you the perfect example for the same, Mr. Yashpal Sardhana. Today, he is going to enlighten us about the skills for career development. It is our honor to invite you onto the stage, sir.
Hello. Namaskar and very good evening. So, Professor Shrikande and Professor Patharai and Professor Devedi and Professor Rajat Agarwal and Mr. Azam Ali Khan. He is a medium between the society, business and the academia. Thanks to meet you. And Manish Anand, who is the CEO of the TIH. So first of all, thank you all of you actually. It's a privilege to be here. Not only a privilege, I would say it's an honor for us actually. To be the people, to be the young minds actually. First of all, we feel young when we come to the campus actually. And that too such a bright nation's best of the people actually. Speaking with them, talking with them gives us energy actually. And that too when we say career actually. So as a leader or as a practitioner being working in the real world actually, this is our responsibility also. We own this responsibility that we have to be giving some kind of input, some kind of facilitation or some kind of practicing, some kind of sharing with all of you actually. So today's session, which Mr. Professor Shrikande and Dr. Devedi has done actually, because long back actually he met me in one of the forum actually in the CIA actually, we met together there when we were talking about the industry and academic collaboration actually for taking our nation forward, for taking our society forward. So there we met together and we were thinking of doing some kind of collaborative work whereby industry can look forward for the researchers and researchers can look forward for the practicing and implementing the technologies or kind of systems they are doing the research actually. So for that we met together and we thought of that let's do one. We called him on the Engineers Day. Professor Devedi was there to give a talk on us actually because long back the engineers came out of the college actually forget about what the engineering was, what the thermal engineering, what was the I would say hydraulics, Bernoulli theorem, P1, V1, all these things we forget actually and today also we don't know actually. Right? So because fundamentally what happens actually when we say we are from BTech, from this kind of institute, the best of the institutes makes a strong foundation for us actually. And then what happens actually when you go to actually on the real world, you find where is the thermal engineering or where is the data science, where is the Bernoulli theorem actually. It actually happens. So when first of all when you reach to the shop floor or working floor, you find there's a complete difference between the campus and the real world actually. So there the starts irony that what to do, I am not, am I right, am I in the right place, or this place is not for me, campus was better, what, that kind of what happens is actually what to do, where to do. So because lot of years you spent a lot in doing such a hard work actually. Coming to IIT, and that to IIT Roorkee kind of institute, coming to that actually. And there's a lot of dreams are there, a lot of curiosity is there. So once you land up into the actual world, you find there is a gap between that actually. There comes to where what our dreams were. So important is that in our education system, if these kind of talks are there actually, so that the real world is being given a inputs to the actually, so that you can, whatever you are dreaming for, whatever you are curious for, whatever for you have done a hard work, and whatever the hard work your professors has done to bring you on such a good foundation level, such a attitude they have made for you, and then you should be able to serve in any kind of sphere actually. You should be able to contribute towards the nation, towards the society and the family and the self actually. So this is one of the session, this is one of the talk actually. They had asked that can we be there actually, and we said yes, we'll be much more happy to be there. It will be an honor for us actually to be the young minds and the bright minds of the nation actually. So this is one of the perspective actually. Then we asked them what is the topic actually where we have to speak. They're saying this is a skill development for the career, and absolutely for which you have worked for the almost 24 years, worked very hard actually. There's a career. First thing comes into mind actually when we get entrance to the IIT. Now I have to be on the top of the world. Actually, you are on the top of the world. And then comes what extraordinary we can do actually. What extraordinary we can do if something is given to us. And fortunately, and some irony if you say, in the other world actually, Western world are there, their education system and our education system is little different actually. There they give so many exposure to these kind of things that you know what is going to be there in the outer world. Here we have some kind of limitation in the curriculum if you say, or this kind of series is there, and I must welcome, I must thankful to the professors. They have initiated these kind of talks also, and they are doing earlier also. I know because they said every year and year they invite from our plant and our organization. So we thought yes, let us share for that actually. That's what the topic which was that actually. That was skills for career development. But this is a perspective actually. Skills you are already building actually here. The strong skill sets, strong attitude you are building here. But what can be a perspective can be given to you from the practitioner point of view. What we are practicing, what the business needs actually, what the nation needs actually as in today, where the world is moving actually, where we can contribute, where we can find a opportunity. What is our potential? So this is one of the perspective actually. In the 10-15 slides, me and my team, Sukhdev is with me as a head of the business excellence, and Prabhat is with me, head of the industrial engineering. And fortunately, he is doing good courses from the industrial engineering from the IIT Roorkee also. And every 3 months, he comes out with one of the certificates. I have done this certificate also, thanks to IIT Roorkee and the Professor Dwivedi also. So this kind of institutes helps us a lot also in that way. That we ask our people, you again go back to the college in terms of the online, some small courses, 3 months courses, 2 months courses, that can add value to the organization, which were not a part of your curriculum in your BTech programs. But IIT is doing a great job in that point also. So me and my team put up a thoughts in 10 to 15 slides actually to give you a small perspective, maybe useful for you, maybe something awakening to you, maybe bringing you more closer to what you are dreaming for actually. So this is what we have thought of, and this is what we have kept as the perspective it is actually. You have to find out actually what you are dreaming for actually, right? So let me start with that. So first is that what we call as a skill actually. What this definition is actually. We normally use this word very oftenly in our what precisely what we call as a skill is the ability actually of an individual where he or she can use their knowledge effectively and readily in the execution on the performance. So here comes the actually difference actually. So where the industry what looking for and what these institutes, premium institutes are preparing for. Ready for execution when you say. Then sometimes there is a gap actually, what industry or the business seeking for and what foundation is being made here actually. So these kind of perspective, these kind of talks can help to build upon that readiness. In our organization, we call college to campus. So from college to campus, what we should be doing in between actually, we should be understanding what we should be building some kind of skills during our curriculum also. So that's what is the ready for the performance and a learned power actually, and a developed attitude. So this is what the organization, this IIT, the premier institutes are doing and other institutes are doing of the India and the world, that developing the attitude towards going for a bigger dreams actually. Right? So then what is the career development? Sometimes we say career development is at the point of time when we are coming out of the college actually. No, actually it is not. Career development is a whole life. It is a ongoing journey actually. And it's directly linked to individual's growth, individual's motivation, and individual's level of satisfaction. How this is a motivational, how this brings a satisfaction, what is the individual is aspiring for, what they think as a growth. So every individual has a different paradigm, different dimension of growth. Somebody may be going ahead with a growth, they say we are there for earning money actually. Somebody can say I am there to support the society, that is my growth. Somebody can say I am here to create the value actually, I am here to create the money, create the value in the society. I am going to create the wealth for the nation. I am not going to earn money for myself. I want to, earning would be my a subsidiary, earning would be my output. But first is I should be creating wealth for the organization, wealth for the society, wealth for the nation. So every individual has their individual's aspiration and the growth level, and how this motivation gets developed, that is scientifically actually, somebody has written that actually. That will be explained in the next slide. So hence, visualized and managed by the individual actually. There cannot be a one common thumb rule actually. That these are the skills that everybody can using in this hall with 300 people are there, that this is the skills, these are the skills which can be read or developed over a period of time through theoretical knowledge and practicing. When we say what is knowledge and the skill, so knowledge is about the theoretical actually, and when you apply this theory with respect to what you intended for, desired results, and doing the application of this knowledge and converting into the desired results. Once you convert into desired results, then you can say I have the skill. So today in this institutes actually, when we build a foundation, actually the skill is to be built upon actually, and skill can be built with the application of that knowledge. And what kind of knowledge we should gain? So building a skill, first step is identifying what kind of knowledge is required actually. In the curve of skill building, competency building, the very first step comes, I don't know what I don't know. That what I should be knowing, that also I don't know. What are the career skills are required for my dreams to be there actually, for my motivation level. So here becomes a critical thing for all the young minds like you who can bring miracles actually, subjected to they are given the right kind of support for that. Our ecosystem should be developed for that actually, and thanks to this professor, they are trying to create that kind of ecosystem. Their support should be coming from the outside perspective, from the practitioner world, and what you are building upon as a. So this is what the individual, then it is the introspection and the extrospection, because it is the individual's perspective. What individual is talking about, thinking about what the growth is actually, where they want to reach at the end of the career, where they want to build a career. So introspection is about their self-potential. And this is also one of the issue, if we say in our society, sometimes we also don't know what we are intended for actually, what is our true potential. And even same happens to us also. If I ask my son actually, he did masters from UK, that what was my dream, there should be a good job available, good package should be there actually. Maximum actually we do what for we think actually when coming to IIT, package kitna banta hai, package ka band kya hai. But really package gives you satisfaction. क्योंकि पापा ने कहा था, क्योंकि उनके पापा के फ्रेंड ने कहा था कि ये लाइन अच्छा है, you go to this line. So that's what actually, there's a difference between the Western world and our world actually. Actually, we don't identify ourselves also, what we are meant for. And many times, you must have learned the stories, somebody has done a BTech but working in some commercial activity. Done the BTech, and the good movie is there, we all remember actually, 3 Idiots actually. What for you are made actually. Why would you BTech? when you are not for the BTech, why did you BChem actually? So our system is not there actually, but once we identify what our true potential actually that is an introspection. That helps us a lot. And that how gets generated with that, if we get perspective from people other side, our family is also there who has experience, who are the best well-wisher for us actually. Whatever they are guiding us, that is the one of the best advice we get actually. As per their wisdom level, as per their experience. So whatever we get extrospection from our society, from our family, from practitioners, then we have to collate it with respect to our true potential. Then comes actually what we should look forward to building a career actually. Then this is a series of ongoing activity. It's not the one time actually today we decide that career is there. And you see after every 5 years technology is changing. Lot of careers were there. I think some of you have not heard also. Long back actually, maybe say premier shoot and long 100-year shoots, there may be some title would be steno. I think how many years the typewriters and steno was there, a shorthand writing they used to actually take a dictation, and where are the career actually? They are finished. So every 5 years down, 10 years down the line, the careers which are as in today may get obsolete in the coming years actually. So we have to be agile all the time. It's an ongoing activity. It's a start actually. When we are finishing our education or in the mid of education, if we are aspiring for the higher level of education also. Then we have to think what our goals are there. And then defining the new goals regularly. Whole life actually. Very first thing actually, one is we don't identify what for we are made actually, what our true potential is. And second is that we just go into the race of building the career where the whole crowd is going actually. So we should be having the knowledge where we want to be and where the end of career, where I want to be actually. So we must be having some kind of image in our mind, that vision in our mind that 30 years or 35 years I have to work for the society or for me, for my family actually, for generating revenue or bringing livelihood actually. So where I want to be. Somebody can say, I want to be CEO of the organization. People from IIT, we know the lot of examples are there. They become CEO in the 40 years also. People in the 60s also don't become the CEO. Why? What was the difference actually? Somebody has vision for that. They have a target for that actually. And with respect to the targets, they have always actually were changing with respect to what they should be doing next. And we know a lot of the organization of the world's best organizations are all run by Indian CEOs. Top 10. You study any of the biography, you go through Satya Nadella. Hit Refresh is an excellent book actually, you go through actually. That kind of literature, that is a practitioner world literature which they have written for us. You see Sundar Pichai. BTech from one of the stream and going into which stream actually? So what does means actually, that was the foundation was built in that IIT actually, one of the stream of the engineering, but he had a goals for the life actually, but he was agile enough to take another master's and then going to the MBA and that kind of the management education. That's what helped him to be at that actually. So we have to building, so people whosoever are in that level actually, they are not by incidental activities. It's not somebody has chosen them incidentally that this is a good guy. No, they have demonstrated some kind of skills. They have demonstrated some kind of vision actually. They have shown some kind of perseverance for that. They're working for that actually. They have dreamed for that and they have made plan for that. Some of the people, these kind of leaders, write in the biography, actually some don't write actually. And some kind of how with the challenges also. If you go to the book of the Hit Refresh, you see how the challenging was for that Satya Nadella as a family point of view. How he was struggling and how the education point of view. What kind of challenges was there. And when the Microsoft CEO was to be found out actually, there were the candidate actually, and what was good in him actually. So it's an excellent book actually. And I have read one book, I did many books, but that's one book I read where the one paragraph is written about the professional life, one is written about the personal life. That is one kind of excellent book. Where our personal, that means our as a person, as a paradigm, as a persona, makes a difference for the professional journey also for the girl. So that kind of literature helps us to lot get for the perspective of this actually. So what we are made for actually. So scientifically actually, Maslow has written in the psychology actually this. how we are driven actually. How we are driven. So there are the needs actually of the human life. The first need is about the psychological need. It's about the basic of the life actually. घर पे छत होना चाहिए, रहने के लिए जगह होनी चाहिए, गाड़ी बेसिक्स हो जाए तो नेक्स्ट लेवल है. So this basics actually. So everybody first aspires for that. Whatever education we are targeting for, the very first thing what we look for के package कितना आएगा, basics कितना आएगा एक मेरा. First we look for that there should be stability, there should be reliability of the life. Yes, I'll be earning. I'll be able to earn. So very first thing actually the need which motivates us is to livelihood fundamentally. And after that livelihood actually, with the basics of the stability of the life actually, safety. And then comes in the family and the belongingness need actually. Where we are working, we have a need which motivates us that this workplace or this company or this institute is giving me that what I am actually. So that motivates us. So first is the basic needs. Unless until basic needs are not fulfilled, we cannot move to the next level of needs. And some of the people whole life actually are in the first level of needs also. And that makes us actually how we should plan our life, how we should plan our career and the journey. And once our this all basic needs are fulfilled actually, then comes our esteem needs actually. In the society, I should be known for my accomplishments actually. My parents should be proud of that. कि बेटे ने IIT किया है, बेटी ने IIT किया है, अब MS कर रहे हैं US से, and she or he is in some of the organization as a top level manager also. That motivates actually. That is a social need. And some of the candidates, some of the people in the life actually get satisfied with it. Most of the people get satisfied to this level actually. And going ahead actually is a very small thing, it's self-actualization, for which an individual is being made by the God. And every individual has been given a unique potential for him or her. Sometimes we identify and sometimes we are not given a chance to identify ourselves. We know many success stories. People are doing engineering but doing a photography. Had it been known to them actually what their passion is, and had it been somebody in the ecosystem supporting them, yes, you go for education of photography and you will be earning a lot, need not to worry, but first worry who creates our parents first actually. नहीं बेटा पहले जॉब तो मिल जाना चाहिए, बेटी पहले जॉब तो मिल जाना चाहिए. So there start actually. There, our system is like that actually, and we all have to accept. And you all young minds going ahead down the line, 5 years down the line, you have to change this ecosystem also. Every student, everyone, every child should be knowing what for he or she is being given a potential. That makes a difference. So what the self-actualization need is actually the realization actually. The fulfillment of total one's talent and the potential actually. Many times potential is there, but we are not given a platform. Either we are not given a platform, either we have not identified even actually what our potential is. Or wherever our organization is hired, they also never understood actually what the potential is. And then achievement of one's full potential gives the real level of satisfaction in the life actually. And this is the ultimate need of any human. Sometimes we identify, sometimes we don't identify. लोग तपस्या कर रहे हैं, हिमालय में जाते हैं because they are for their self-accomplishment. That motivates them actually. So that is their individual need. That's they understand this is the growth actually. They understand my self-actualization is awakening my soul actually. They think in that way. Somebody working in the corporate world saying, क्या करने जा रहे हो उधर? But they understand what they are doing. So it's a totally individual. It's a totally individual. The very first step for the career development is identify your potential. Think about what your needs are. Think about what you aspire for. And then creativity, independence. And then understanding and grasping the real world. So this starts the journey actually, is a human psychology, fundamentally. Then comes our education, then comes our further building of the skills actually. And then, after identifying the self as a potential, what we carry actually, what we are made for, then we look for the opportunities outside the world. Opportunities outside the world and a perspective can be built from the opportunities. So individual has to do introspection and then extrospection about the opportunities available around the world. That makes a combination actually. Instead of nowadays, what we do actually, कौन सा package अच्छा जा रहा है, let's do the artificial intelligence. Identify yourself, what your career goals are actually. Why you are going for the artificial intelligence? Maybe immediately after doing that artificial intelligence, you may get a good package actually. But long run, if you pursue your passion, you may be 5 times, 10 times for that actually. Maybe after some time, you go for a good package and you are saying, no, I am not satisfied for that. What it meant actually, because we have understood ourselves. First is understanding our own self, and then finding which are the opportunities, where the world is going actually. In the previous years, what were the trends in the world actually, in the going forward, what are the trends? We sometimes get illusion about the buzzwords कि अब तो artificial intelligence और data analytics चल रहा है, बस इसी में ही life है. Most of the mechanical engineers. And what we are doing as of today actually, as a nation if we say, as a nation what we say actually, which are the mechanical products have been developed by us actually, how many? How many we are exporting actually? You see how maximal technologies, you talk about the automobile, you talk about anything, we all are importing. There is a space actually, there is opportunity. Just we have to find out where there is, maybe in the next 2 years, maybe it is not good in terms of the relatively somebody else has got a better package, I got a less package. But if you go for that kind of creation of the wealth actually, maybe 100 times, 200 times, 500 times actually. Maybe. So here the important is how the world has moved actually. So understanding the basic economics of the world actually, where it is. So total world economy is about 94 trillion US dollar, out of which 42% is contributed by 2 countries only. It's the US and China. What they have done in that actually, and how they have progressed. And we are at the 6th only actually, and we are only 3%. And the maximum population, second in the world actually, population, and we are the country with a 3.1% of the GDP. In this big bubble size actually, there is a huge opportunity lying. Huge opportunities lying. And if we see, and the next 30 years is expected that it is going to double actually. So for doubling, if you see the past, who has done the doubled in the bubble size, who has grown how, and how we can grow forward. And that may be satisfying our needs also, our true potential also. If you see about how this GDP in the last 50, 60 years has been changed, like how the different countries has grown, what were their strategies in the world, what they have done differently, how this America and China is contributing to the 42%, right? If you see a small video, this is there actually, you see in the 1961, US was the dominating economy at that time also, $0.5 trillion. India was in the top 10, in the bottom second actually. Bottom second was there, and China was near to that actually. China was just near to us actually. And up to the, and you see Japan is moving ahead. Japan, the war-torn economy. They had a totally fractured economy in terms of in the 1945, they had to face that war. Everything was shattered actually, the country. And this is small island, this few millions people became the world's second largest economy for the 40 years. You see how the trends are changing actually. India, China in the 80s were almost, in the 70s for China, India was even out of 10 also. Now see here in the 1976 almost, Japan has exponentially started growth. What they did actually, we have to study the literature actually. If you study literature, you will find actually there what are the opportunities there, how you can contribute in terms of what you potential are carrying actually. In the 50s actually, they were not having money to bring a bigger industry actually. They went to US, understand how to put up an industry actually. They learned from them. And coming back with the operation competitiveness, manufacturing competitiveness, they become the top of the world. Then they started saying in the manufacturing systems actually that should become a weapon for us. They understood actually where the opportunity is. They understood that in the US what they are not doing and what we can do actually. What they are not doing. And they studied and done something extraordinary which world was not noticing it at all actually. Up to 74, 80s world was not noticing at all. They learned from US was not able to notice what they are doing actually. In the 90s actually, the Toyota is a brand name, one of the Sony, Honda, they started coming on the world actually. They start exporting to the US. They said, no, थोड़े दिन की बात है ये, छोटा सा country है क्या करेगा. Then this Toyota then gone ahead with the number 1 in the US itself. And after a few years, in the 2000, US has 3 big automobile giants, General Motors, Ford and Chrysler. All 3 put together, the profit was lesser than the Toyota. It did something great actually. Then the US government said that something is going in Japan. What these guys are doing actually. And sent their few of the wise people, you go and study actually what they have done. And they found that the people who were not respected in the US, like Deming, Sheward, and the Japanese asked them, please come to us and support us and teach us actually. That's the reason Deming Award is there in Japan, while Deming is from US. And then their economy start growing, and then they will start putting in the plants in the US and all across the world. These people, US team, went to the Japan and for study, they said, let's study what they have done. 5-6 people were sent and James Womack was their leader actually. And once they came back to the US federal, they submitted a report that called The Machine That Changed the World. I recommend you all, you just read that book actually. You'll have a perspective about how the world was changed. The Machine That Changed the World, James Womack, it was written by James Womack. And then they said, this is what the Japanese has done. And then once they are done actually, they start growing like anything. After 18s, Russia was in that actually, but after demerger of the different states, Russia came down actually. So up to 80s, China is also not there actually in the 80s, top 10. Now 83s, our economy and China's economy was almost same level, 0.2 trillion economy, US dollar. And now Japan is progressing very fast. And after 90s actually, suddenly Chinese did something. After 90s, they suddenly did something and start surpassing the world. They understood what the trends are actually. They understood what the trends are there, what the world needs actually. They understood what the customer is looking for and what are the challenges of the world. And they picked up manufacturing as their core competitiveness actually. They thought of making manufacturing as their strategic weapon for that. And they invested heavily in terms of the human resource skill development for the manufacturing itself. That is an excellent example of the Japan and China. Japan industry and academy worked together to bring the industry to the higher level. Similarly, model was picked by the China. And US what did? US asked the total brain of the world to come to our country, give us the fees for MS and the PhD, and you stay here and do research here actually. That's the reason top 10 CEOs are from us. So their economy, education and research. They start selling the education and start doing the research. And here in the 2000 actually, China is just moving exponentially. And Japanese economy got stagnant actually, because it's a small country and they started getting manufactured all of the products. Sony got built outside the Japan because their cost of manufacturing went very up. So that way China is now the number 2. In the last 30 years, their economy has multiplied by the 46 times. China. It is only due to the human resource development, skill development. So this way, in the last 30 years, and what the next 30 years going to do? So every country is now thinking of what their strategy should be. So China, what they did, actually whole whole government, the total thought of that we should be export-led economy. The whole world is now dependent on them actually. We can't survive as on today. Our total pharma industry is dependent on them for the raw material. 80% raw material is being imported from China. Smartphones maximum. Recently in the last 6 months only the situation has changed when due to some of the corona issues or when world thought that they with the economic power they are becoming the political power. So balancing got started in the world actually. That's why China plus strategy started in the world actually. Atmanirbhar Bharat started actually. Now whole world is looking for alternate to China. And this is the biggest opportunity for us actually going forward. So what, and if you see the total world economy, GDP, what is the contribution of the manufacturing in that actually. So most of the countries have increased their GDP by the manufacturing only. This was the China actually. This was the Japan. What they did differently actually? Through the operational excellence and the innovation. The word, one new word was coined by the terminology was there. China as a manufacturing plant of the world. And that corporate road, what do you know how India is known for that? Back office of the world. Because we are very proud of that. We have a very good IT industry. What we are doing actually, making payroll for somebody, doing taxation activity for somebody. What they did actually, US and all this country, they offered the non-value jobs to us actually and engaged our talent actually into those activities. That was a strategy actually. Had it not been engaged in that kind of activities, तो हमारे सारे इंजीनियर्स तो मैकेनिकल रिसर्च करके ऊपर आ जाते ना. So that is also a strategy by the world. Every country is thinking their next 50 years, 20 years. What they will do. So China became the manufacturing plant of the world. And their export only, 2.6 trillion, is more than our GDP as in today. So the point is that manufacturing is the one of the segment actually which makes the society and the country bigger. So that is the opportunity. If you see China as on today, if a global manufacturing, if we say, 28% of the world is being manufactured in the China. US kept only research and defense and education. 3 sectors they made actually. Total defense, they are trying to export. All kind of research of the defense, they are trying to do. Russia, US, because they are benefiting in 2 terms. It is making an economic power also, it is making it geopolitically powerful also in that way. So India is where actually 3.1% only, the total economics of the manufacturing. Then how this China, Japan, what they have done actually? As I mentioned earlier, the Japan actually, they learned from US. So if you see from the 1900 actually, in the industrial engineering, we must have read about the Taylor's principle in the industrial engineering. So that was a time actually when this Taylorism evolved actually, and the industrial engineering, how the manufacturing competitiveness should be there actually. In the 1950, when this Japanese found Deming's principle are useful for the country, they brought him into their country and started learning from them. So there, the quality assurance and SPC, that was the foundation of this world actually at the time, of the US. SQ and SPC was thought as a weapon for the competitiveness. And then Japanese developed their own system, which is called TQC. They evolved their own. They learned from them and they evolved their own. TPS, TQM, TPM. So these kind of manufacturing systems they developed and make their industry competitiveness and the best in the world. And then US learned from them. And same Toyota production system, just in time, was renamed as a lean production. 6 Sigma lean. Actually, it was developed in the Japan itself. It is renamed only. They have not adopted it as it is a Toyota production system. So why this manufacturing methodology is actually where we as Indians are not doing great actually. This is what the point was, our collaboration with the IIT Roorkee For the professor, we were discussing with Akshay that can we do something in this actually? Because we are also dependent on the world of Japanese. We call them, pay them the hefty money for that. Why our premier institutes can't come forward for developing these kind of things? At least first, we should be independent in following these methodologies by which our manufacturing can go ahead. Then we say how this has become possible. If we see the skill, today's our topic, the skill, how for the world it was important, and how this can be an opportunity for us. So G20 data is there actually. If you see, the ILO, International Labour Organization, has divided into 4 categories. One is less than basic. Second is the basic. Then intermediate and advanced. If you see Japan, intermediate level 47% and advanced is the 52%. Chinese generally don't disclose their data, that's why China is not there in this list. This is authentic data by the International Labour Organization, even they don't publish that also. And best thing they have done in that actually. In some of the plant like us or some of the manufacturing plants, if they have to make somebody as a plant head, the organization cannot take decision. That person has to go to university on every weekend, get a certification that now you are eligible for the department head. Now you are eligible for the plant head. Once you have that kind of certification issued by the premier institutes, and then there is a vacancy, and then the internal evaluation happens, then you can be given. Otherwise, government will not allow them actually. So they have raised the bar of the total human. So with that, Japanese are having 47%, 52% is advanced. United States, 48% is advanced and 48% is the intermediate. Now let's look at the India where we are. 30.8 are the less than basics even. 47% are the basic. Intermediate level is 9.8 and 11% are the advanced level only. And you all are on the 11.9% actually. People from the premier institutes. But how much we use this talent in our core area, in the core manufacturing area or the core economy area? That's the question. That's the opportunity. Nobody is moving into this area. Nobody is moving into these areas. Everybody is moving to the area of the artificial intelligence का course कर लेते हैं, statistics का course कर लेते हैं. Because package initial अच्छा है. And 16 to 17 hours you are doing the coding actually. What's your choice actually? Then you have to find out, because at the end 30 years where I have to go and what my passion is, what my potential is. That we have to find out actually. How these countries were different actually. So this is about the context actually. So this can help us to find out what we should do in terms of our dreams actually. What others, see, it is the best we should learn from what others have done. India, if we say, as on today, our total budget, if we say, $51 billion is the yearly budget for defense. Government of India puts actually. And this totally is the import. Totally is import almost. And we spend too much taxpayers' money because we don't have the research in that area. We are not manufacturing these things actually. That's why we depend on this world. In the transportation, you see these are the sectors actually. So defense is one of the emerging sector actually, which has a abundance of opportunities. Like the human potential, human resource potential we have, we can be the hub for that, for export. Recently, first time India has exported defense missiles actually. Recently, the first time actually, thanks to the government that they have made this willpower that we will be exporting defense now. They are trying their best, but they need talent, and that's the opportunity. Just think actually, just think. Then comes the which kind of skills are there actually, fundamentally, because that was the context, that was the perspective actually, where the opportunity is this, and where your needs are there, what motivates to you, and the one kind of skills are there. This is the framework developed by UNICEF. Learning to know is one category actually, and learning to do is another category. Like creativity, critical thinking, research kind of things actually, data-based, fact-based, These are the categories of cognitive skills. And most of our society is running behind these cognitive skills. Artificial intelligence. In the corona times, the total world has experienced that what is the value of the emotional intelligence. People who were very strong in terms of cognitive skills reached the higher level of the positions, earned a lot of money, created a lot of money, but vacuum from inside. Emotional stresses. We are not building our society, emotionally resilient society. Kindly think for that actually. Don't think only for a career enabler, only for the data and facts kind of skills, which are called cognitive skills. And second, learning to be. These are the personal grooming skills. Resilience to the situation. Resilience to the situation. Because life is going to be with the different situation where we will be having stress actually. How much resilient we are actually. How much emotionally we are built up. Because more and more emotionally we are built up, better perspective we'll be having, better vision we'll be having. But we don't learn on these things. How to do the self-management? What should the communication? And then learning to live together for the society actually. As a society, as a citizen, what we should be doing? Like respect for diversity, empathy, participation. So broadly, these are the four categories, two broader classifications. One is the cognitive skills actually. Data, facts, critical thinking, logical thinking. Half side of the brain. And maximum world and Indian society is running behind these skills actually. And even that emotional skills, we are bringing humans emotion skill, we are saying artificial intelligence. We are trying to replace human. For whom we are doing actually? We are trying to replace human. So more and more stressful society would be there actually. So apart from these kind of careers, these kind of packages and all these things, think from the life skills also. This learning to be as a self and the learning for the society, these are the life skills actually. And psychologists say these are life skills actually. And we normally don't think for that actually. So world and particularly India leaders for that kind of things. So we have to broadly divide into the three categories and we have to make a vision for us. 20 to 30 years we have to work where we want to be. It's not just now what we are thinking. In the research area, what we can do actually. India needs a lot of research. We should be having our own products. We should be exporting. And then what kind of system skills are there? With this system only Japan and China has become the top of the world. And then the leadership skills, that are the emotional kind of things, which in that last slide we have discussed about the emotional life skills. Just need that actually. Just read on that literature also. That will help you a lot for going ahead in the longer life actually. What India requires as a professional going forward, who can lead actually. It's not only work, we want leaders. Learn just not to deal with the change actually, but to deliver higher values. Evolve to create an impact on the society. Awaken to inspire others. And disseminate the awakening to create a collective transformation, which India is looking for. Now every individual has to think about herself and himself. Where the God has given us a potential and where the opportunity is there. The two things are there actually. What we are made for and what the opportunities are lying actually. And how we can create opportunities. So then this is from the Maslow actually. It starts with the self first. First, identify yourself. By that identify, that will become your thinking actually. That will become thoughts. Once you precipitate your thoughts, consolidate your thoughts, that will become our words actually. We'll start speaking that what I want to be actually. And those words will become our actions actually. And then actions will become the habits and then character and that will become the destiny actually. So that's what we can plan for that actually. Every individual has to plan. It's a fundamental. I have not talked about the artificial intelligence as a skill. कौन से trends कौन से चल रहे हैं. I have given the perspective actually where the world is moving. So this is all about a small thing which we collected as a. I do lot of practice in these kind of things actually. So incidentally, professor asked that we need some kind of that discussion, and we collected this all thoughts into this one small PPT of the 15-17 slides, and this is what I could present along with my team as a perspective to all of you. So now we can think of interactive or any kind of question and answer, anything if you want. So this is all about from my side, and I am happy to answer any question if I would be able to with respect to you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. It was really insightful. Now let's move to on our Q&A session. So raise your hands for question. We will pass on the mic.
First of all, thank you, sir, for this session.
My pleasure.
My name is Akash Kumar Singh, and my question is. So my question is, sir, when I see about the career opportunity, everyone wants to be the leader. So the conversion rate after completing a BTech, then moving to for MBA degree, if I thought about our alumni also, the conversion rate is very much more. So why the people are mostly going in that path of MBA to be the leader of the world or to be the CEO of any company? So the research phase or the research skills that we are lacking in our country is a major drawback, what I feel.
See, as I already mentioned actually, our society is driven by something else actually. So in the world actually, if you see, there are two parts of the world actually. One is for the European world actually, other was the East, the Asian actually, you say. So Japanese, Indian, Sri Lanka, if you say the Asian continent actually. So we were in the arena of scarcity. They are in the abundance. So once they were abundance, they were thinking about the emotional skills and all these things. They were in that world actually. We have seen the scarcity actually. So very first thing what motivated us? Money. Right? So that's what my point was actually. Are we running for money? Are we running for true realization of ourselves? Most of the IITians very first they target either for MS, either target for the IIT-IM. Right? If you go to Western world, after coming out of your engineering college, they will not allow you to come to the MBA college. You just apply to any of the MBA college in the world, they will not allow to you. They said, you have not done engineering so far. You haven't done the engineering. You just do the engineering, become a manager, and then come to us for the management skills. But our ecosystem is that IIT-IM, this is the best combination. कि उसके बाद 50 लाख का 60 लाख का तो start होता है वहाँ से. And we are driven by that. And what we have learned in the IIT is a core skill, engineering skills. Absolutely, we are not going to use it actually. The point was actually what drives us actually. If money drives to you, follow that path. If you say, no, I want to create something for the world actually. Let me do 5 years research in the core areas. Then I will think for the MBA. Maybe the situation is different. Maybe somebody else. This all depends on individual. Nothing is right or wrong in this world actually. What satisfies to you, what motivates to you, follow that path. So because India as a scarcity was there, so every day is running, money was a first primary factor actually. So our whole thing, whole psychology, whole thinking is driven by the package. Whole thinking actually. क्योंकि तो पापा भी पूछते हैं ना, बेटा क्या कर रहा है, पैकेज कितना आएगा? And same thing, everyone, because I asked my son, same thing. वो सभी का same है, because we are the same society, but we have to think for changing actually, if we want to change. There can be abundance actually. There's an opportunity, abundant. Abundant opportunity, because you see these kind of premier institutes have created the incubation centers actually. Earlier, you talk about 20 years back, these kind of institutes were not having these kind of skills. Startups को incubate कर रहे हैं हम लोग. Like now, the full-time professors there for that. What they're saying actually? Innovation lab is there. Professor Dwivedi has shown me that lab actually. You come with the idea, ideation to market. I think something terminology he said. You bring an idea, will support you to realize that ideation to realization. Actually, he used the terminology. From that idea, you bring into realization, convert into the market actually, and then you go for the MBA. No? It's a perspective, just think over actually. What drives you actually, what motivates you? That's why I started this Maslow's need actually. There's a fundamental in nature, universal in nature actually. It's about the human. That we think. Yeah, somebody.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, as you mentioned that we should learn from the trends in the past and the trends in the future, and at the same time, we should also stick to our core. Like we should be responding to the changes in our environment, what are the new technologies up and coming, and we should also find our true passion. Like a lot of leaders that you mentioned, they went to something and they kept changing themselves, kept learning new things. And at the same time, there are some other leaders who always stuck to their core, and they also got their success. And a lot of research is also being done in these artificial intelligence and quantum computing. So how do you find balance in learning and changing, but at the same time also sticking to your passion and your core?
See, here I talked about learn not just to deal with change, but to deliver. World needs this actually. There is an opportunity. Right? So one is that responding to the change, adjusting to change. One is that forcing actually and create change. What these people have done, the US and all this, what they did, they created change actually. And US, we say the most of the leaders are not the actual resident of the US. They had a strategy, they picked the talent from across the world. They created Google, they created Amazon, everything is managed by us. NASA. Ecosystem plays a part, yes, true. If somebody want to say, no, मैं यहाँ पे there are obstacles, there are issues, but there are success stories of the India also. There are success stories. So we should be reading through these kind of literatures also. Normally that we don't do. In our curriculum also this is not there actually, because of the life skills we are not being taught. If you remember the starting of our education, पहली या दूसरी standards में धर्म शिक्षा करके moral education करके कुछ हुआ करता था. Moral science, moral education, धर्म शिक्षा, I think वो भी खत्म हो गया सब हमारे तो. आज के इसमें देखो आप नहीं हैं आजकल. So from day one actually we have been programmed. प्रोग्राम क्या है? हायर पैकेज क्या है? गलत नहीं है, बिकॉज बट वी आर प्रोग्राम फॉर दैट. यस, उसमें चलते जाना है कि कैसे वो एक रेस में हम आगे जाना है. अब आफ्टर गोइंग टू दैट रेस एक्चुअली समटाइम्स इट बिकम्स स्ट्रेसफुल. जो है कि दिस वाज नॉट माय कप ऑफ टी. बट डू यू वांट टू रियलाइज आफ्टर गोइंग couple of years down the line, or you want to identify yourself first? Take a courage actually. Pursue your passion. Plan for your passion. It's not important that you stick to core. It's not. So that depends upon you actually. If mechanical engineering as a core motivates you, these kind of institutes have a lot to support you actually. You can bring some idea, you can convert it to that, you can wait for 2 more years. Subjected to पापा अलाउ करते हैं तो. Because risk taking capability नहीं है हमारी society में. That's also true. Our society is programmed for that. Because अभी हमने abundance देखा ही नहीं है हमने तो. तो वो it depends upon the family also. Sometimes family decide actually. Normally तो 99.9% family decide करती है. We don't decide. Rarely we get a chance and rarely we find a courage that we should be doing our passion, or we are given a support to identify what we are. Artificial intelligence जो है ना, there is a in the Bloomberg is a magazine across the world. They publish articles actually. Toyota, which is the brand name, by that Toyota, the terminology just in time was manufactured actually. They brought in lot of robotics, automation, artificial intelligence. Their head of operations said, no, we are going to remove robots from lines. There's an article in the blue. Just Google it actually. Just study. They said, no, we don't want robotics actually. Because your emotions are not utilized. You are the God's given intelligence. You are, see, we are going against the nature, no? We can use artificial intelligence, but we cannot replace human intelligence. We should not. But we are replacing in every profession. If you talk about a legal, going forward, lawyers will not be needed. You put a problem, the legal opinion will be there. But the real potential, the humans could able to do it. Very few organizations, very few societies are identifying those. But our society absolutely is in the mid phase actually, in the scarcity, 3.1% of the total GDP, 2.6 trillion GDP as on today. Our Prime Minister ji said, no, in then 5 years will be 5 trillion economy, and that's a big target, 5 trillion economy. US is talking about the 22 year. China is a 16 actually. And 46 times they grown. Because they collectively disseminate this awakening to create a collective transformation. They collectively thought of. So that's what we are discussing and living with a thought actually. Just think. There cannot be a right answer from anybody else, let me tell you. Answer will come from you, from within. Just study. You will get an answer. But for that answer, introspection and extrospection both has to be done. There should not be illusion actually. You have to study these trends. This is what you keep on studying literature, you keep on studying the world actually. Then you take decision. And have a courage for that. That's a life skill. Courage is a life skill. That is not programming. Right?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you very much for this enlightening session, sir. Throughout this discussion, we were discussing about the main problem is that the mechanical engineers or the core students are more diverging to the non-core section for the huge packages. But I think the main problem lies at the very school level and the competition level.
Yes.
Like through these 4 years, I found out that most of my colleagues, my friends who are into the IIT, they are just, they have been the toppers of the classes in class 10th. And I know some of my friends, my fellows, who were good at engineering at 9th, 10th, 11th level, but they couldn't qualify this exam.
Yes.
So what do you think the main flaws in the school system and these competition system?
See,
and
this would be judgmental to speak actually. But actually it is. I said no, because government also tries to change the education system.
yes, sir.
Our political system doesn't allow. Huge, you say there is a voice is raised actually. क्यों change कर रहे हैं? It's not, we are programmed. 10th में top करना है, फिर 12th में top करना है, तो because my son said को पापा कभी तो बोलो खत्म हो गया, अभी आप कहते थोड़ा और कर ले बस, फिर उसके बाद चल पड़ेंगे. It's with our society actually. वो problem है हमारे साथ, हमारे ecosystem में है. वो हमारे स्कूल से ही जो है ना, एक ही चीज़ है कि नंबर टॉप पे कैसे आएगा. इसलिए कि ना, because you see the intake of the foreign institutes and the Indian institutes. Right? For the IIT, suppose, yeah, or IEM, you go for a CAT examination, or for this AI, you go for that actually. Right? So your cognitive skills are only tested. Your data, facts, logical reasoning, all this being tested. You go to foreign university, this is 20% weightage. Why? They're giving weightage just 20% to this actually. If you're going for MBA, they will ask him about GMAT score is 20% of the total actually. They have fixed the 5 category. GMAT or GRE. If you go for engineering, MSc is a GRE. And then have you done social services? 20% is that actually. Lot of the people, lot of candidates sitting in this actually might be doing something with the NGOs. Because they have target के MS में जाना है तो वो NGO का 20% है. Actually we are doing or not doing in the NGO something social service, that is a different question. But they ask for, if you have not supported the society, only your cognitive skills cannot bring to your leadership level. That's the reason their ecosystem promotes both kind of skills actually. But our system promotes only cognitive skills. So that's, I don't know how many years this will be changing, because now our IEMs have started changing actually. The CAT, apart from the CAT score percentile, they consider something else also. Time is changing. Maybe going forward, the percentile of the 60% gets a seat and 90% may not get a seat, maybe going forward. Education seats are changing. But a whole change as a movement has to be brought in, and that may be taking time, and we may be seeing some of you may be at the top of the leadership positions that you have changed the world actually. You have changed our Indian society. When we say the basic skills, this G20 which I discussed, why this is like that actually? India, most of the people don't get a basic education even, primary education don't get. And how many of us think of के teaching profession लेना है? How many of us think actually? Because as a responsibility towards society, why don't, there is a opportunity. You change we seeking and expecting the change should be there actually, but doing somebody, to be done by somebody else. That's why there's a potential. You want to, if this motivates that, serving to society motivates to you, you can pick that career. Why you pick? Because after going ahead with some of the years in the artificial intelligence, data science, वो डेटा मोटिवेट नहीं करेगा, कुछ साल बाद लगेगा नो यार ये पैकेज में आ तो गए हम लोग, बट ये मोटिवेट नहीं कर रहा है ये. एंड लॉट ऑफ कैंडिडेट्स हैपेंस टू बी दैट एक्चुअली. आई नो लॉट ऑफ चिल्ड्रन हु डिड MBBS बट डॉक्टरी करेंगे नहीं अभी. यू नो इन द MBBS नाउ डेज मैक्सिमम डॉक्टर्स आर कमिंग बिकॉज दे डोंट वांट कि वो मतलब 3 शिफ्ट में जाके वो सब करेंगे. दिस इज नॉट माई, बिकॉज पापा ने मम्मी ने कहा था ये क्लियर करना है तो मैं डॉक्टर बन गया, मैं बन गई. So one of my relative, she did a MBBS, but she is applying for MBA. This year she is going for MBA. I said, okay, MBA, doctor, ये क्या combination है? You know, that line does motivates me actually. मेरे पसंद की line नहीं थी. Then how much hard work you did for that actually? Because society, family, it will take years to change, but you become a change leader for that, I would say.
Yes, sir. I have one more question. Like from last 6 months, I have been following these newspapers, and there's one more controversy around us. Like throughout the Industrial Revolution, the Western world has reaped the benefit of the full Industrial Revolution, and now after the Glasgow conference, there's a controversy that now we have to be more focused on climate change.
Yes.
And now the India is claiming that it's our time now. We should reap the benefit of this whole revolution. Yes. So, what's your opinion on this? Like industry leaders, like you have this opinion on this thing.
See, again, somewhere we have choices and somewhere we don't have the choices, right? This Industry 4.0. I was in one of the conference actually. So Industry 4.0 world, you know, from where it was coined actually, it was from Germany actually, right? These countries have a very strategic like of, their cost of manufacturing or the labor cost risen to the level of 40%. Ours is the 3 to 4% labor cost in our Indian industry. That's why the China is 4%, the US and all other countries shifted their manufacturing to that country, right? But what happens later on actually, these countries thought now our economy is stagnant. Germany coined this word Industry 4.0 because they wanted to sell. Whether this was needed or not needed, but they wanted to sell. They wanted to create something. So this was a creation by them. And we are in the process of we should not be left behind. We also followed that. So some are the compulsions, some are not. But yes, India needs that actually. And now thanks to the political willpower also, they are saying we should be Atmanirbhar Bharat, Skill India. These kind of initiatives have come up. They have reaped the benefit. Earlier they say global warming, and the controversy now they say, because they are very strategic in nature. Because we are struggling with our vote bank or something else also. We are struggling to retain the power or something, survival of the society. But they are on the different world. So why most of us wanted to go to and settle to US? Quality of life we think is better there. What motivates us? We need a quality of life. Why don't we create quality of life here itself? We can reap benefit. When the world economy in the next 30 years is going to be double, right? We, after the 94 trillion, we are 3 trillion at the moment. 1/30th, right? So 3%. When it went to 180. So difference of 3 and 180, there is there actually. 3 trillion and 180 trillion. 177 trillion opportunities there. how much we want to grab this hours. So, young mind and the bright, you're best to the academic performer of the India. Just start thinking what you want to contribute. What motivates you? What you want to contribute to the nation and the society. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
We are ending short on time, so we are ending our Q&A session and moving towards the quiz.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for your kind responses. So, fellas, let's get started with our interactive event. I hope you all are excited to win the cool prizes we have for you.
So I'm going to follow the quiz with some instructions. We are going to ask you 5 questions. You need to raise your hands if you know the answer, and the first person who is going to raise your hands will have an opportunity to answer the question. And the first of all, you need to introduce yourself and then give the answer. If the answer is incorrect, then we will move to the next person.
So, let's start, guys. First question. Who is the current CEO of Hero Motocorp?
So,
First,
My-
introduce.
myself Paritosh Anadde, and I'm in third year BTech Electrical Engineering. And the answer to this question is Mr. Pavan Munjal.
Yeah, your answer is correct. Okay. The next question. When was Digital India launched?
Hi, this is Ajay from Final Year Mechanical, July 1st, 2015.
Yeah, your answer is correct. Next question, be ready. List any 3 facilities present at Tinkering Lab IIT Roorkee.
Hello, myself Rishabh Loda, and I'm sophomore from Polymer Science and Engineering. The facilities I remember of is 3D printing and 3D scanning, and there's one like laser etching machine.
Yeah, you're correct. Next question. Who seeded the Hero's first ever robot facility installation for mass production way back in the 1990s?
Yes. Mr. Yashpal Sardana, sir.
The last question. Hero signed tie-up demand for which company in 2020?
This one.
Hey, my name is Raghav Mittal, and the answer for this is Harley Davidson.
Oh, correct. आंसर्स कब देने हैं? विनर्स को प्राइस कब देने हैं?
भी देने होंगे ना?
नाम आ गया?
Now I request Mr. Yashpal Sardana to please come again on the stage and present the prizes to all the winners. Sheetal and Okay. First, we are announcing our prizes for Q&A session. So, first one is the Sheetal. And the second one is the Jay Shukla. Shrey Shukla. Okay, sorry. Now I am announcing the prizes for the quizzes. First one is Harsh Kumar. Akash Kumar Singh, sorry. Ajay Meena. Ajay Meena. Paritos Anadhyay. What's your name? Raghav Mittal. Deepak Yadav. Congratulations, all of you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I request Professor Partha Roy, the Dean of Resources and Alumni Affairs, to come on the stage and give a vote of thanks.
Is working. Okay. Thank you. So, first of all, a huge thanks to Mr. Yashpal Sardana for giving such an excellent talk. Actually, I was remembering my school days because when we used to study in 12th in West Bengal, there used to be JEE exam. So in JEE, there were three options, in fact: E, M, and C. E means engineering, M means medical, and C means combined. So those who gives biology, they will do medical, and those who gives mathematics, they will do engineering, and those who gives both biology and mathematics, they will become C. So most of my friends used to qualify C category, combined. So naturally, they will qualify both medical and engineering. Now the tussle starts with the families. Parents will start, नहीं तुमको engineering पढ़ना है, नहीं तुमको doctor पढ़ना है. The student may be interested in going for medical. He has been forced to engineering. Somebody interested in engineering going to medical science. So many of my students used to get frustrated. जब भी बात होता था यार मेरा पापा मम्मी ने मेरा career खत्म कर दिया, कहाँ medical में डाल दिया. It's like that. And I have a friend, and who happens to be faculty here. He started his career in mechanical engineering in Surat, NIT Surat. But that time it was REC. But now he's a faculty in economics in this institute. So he read 1 year, he did not like it. He again appeared some exams and then went for economics, and then he did bachelor's, master's in economics, and now he's an economist actually. So these type of things are very critical. What he talked about is very practical in our life, and until we decide properly, it is very difficult. I can give you I'll take 1 more minute to tell you one more story of my department. One student was there when I joined in 2004. A student joined. He in MSc in biotechnology at that time, and he was basically BTech computer science from BITS Pilani, and IIM Kolkata pass out. And he was in American Express Bank. Then he cleared JAM. JAM is an exam for master's admission in IITs. So he came to biotech, and he was the first ranker in all India. He came to biotech, and after he came to biotech, I asked him, why do you do it? No, sir, वो मजा नहीं आ रहा था, computer science and management and all. So I wanted to change my track. So he did his master's here. Again, he was a topper, 10 CGPA. Nobody was parallel to him. So he was 10 CGPA, completed there. After that, he thought, what's the next? Sir, मेरे को थोड़ा सा experience करना है, project work करना है. Project के बाद then I will go to something else, PhDs, and I'll think of. He searched for projects. He moved for different places. And people used to call me because I was recommending him many places. So the faculties used to call me. Yeah, he bacha itna bright hai, what he really want to do? Because his focus was not there. He did engineering, he did MBA, he did biological science, but he was not satisfied. So finally now he's in US. He has not yet completed his PhD. He is still struggling. He is in touch with me all the time. He calls me and he takes decisions. He takes. Sir, abhi main PhD kar raha hu. Although his friends are already settled very well, much better, younger than him. But that's also, if the decisions are not taken right time and right way, that will lead to something which will not lead you anywhere. Although you are very bright, but that's what this is a typical example of a bright mind not getting directed properly because he chose a wrong path probably what he wanted to do. So I think in that way, I'm really thankful, Mr. Sardana, for giving such a talk and enlightening us. So thank you so much. So yes, let's put our hands together. That's a real learning experience. I was lost. So I was lost in my younger days like that. And then I would like to thank Mr. Prabhas Sharma and Mr. Sukhdev Sharma who had been accompanying Mr. Sardana over here. Thank you so much. And thank you, Mr. Sardana, for sparing time, valuable time, precious time from your busy schedules for us. I would like to thank Professor Manish Shikande, Dean Strick, for sparing out his time, Mr. Azam Ali Khan for joining us here in this event out of his busy schedules. And I must thank Professor Akshay Dwivedi, ADCI and Coordinating Cutting Lab for organizing this event so nicely and so elegantly. I'm really happy to see that you organized such a short notice. You did it so nice. Thank you so much, Professor Dwivedi. And then I would like to thank the ADCI office for taking care of all the logistics and taking care of this event so nicely. And last but not least, the Tinkeray Lab students, body and the staff who did it so nicely. Absolutely marvelous, fantastic. So you did it so nicely. And I would like to see these sort of events happening very frequently. And this was under the leadership of Shomoji Jaswal and his team. So congratulations to the entire team for this event. So thank you very much and good evening to you all. Thank you. Oh, it was not written there, sorry. And most importantly, I must thank the class of 1993 batch who actually donated the funds for holding this meeting. It's already written there, you can see here. And so we must congratulate those whole entire team. So I'm really thankful to the entire batch for allowing us to host this event. Thank you so much. So, thank you.
I request you, sir, to stay on the stage and present a token of thanks to Mr. Yashpal Sardana.
Sure.
Thank you so much all for such a wonderful audience. And yeah, we are ending our session. Just not. And wait for refreshments.
I request you all to please disperse very slowly, and you all can have, we have arranged for very nice refreshments you all can take from the rear exit. And please disperse very slowly, and it would take barely a few minutes. Please disperse very slowly. Keep sitting. People in front rows, please keep sitting. And people in the back, please start dispersing.